Hello, you guys. Welcome to the Ranting Shop. It's me, Melissa, and today we're gonna be doing a review of Put a Ring on It, Season 3, Episode 10, Blast from the Past. And in this particular episode, Dr. Nicole told the couples that essentially they would not get any new dates. They would have to choose from the people that they already went on dates with. And so a lot of them chose from that bunch. So I'm gonna start with Kenneth and Shorty. So we left off with Kenneth feeling disrespected by Shorty and being tired of being talked down to and being belittled. He said and made mention that it was only recently that Shorty started making more than him. So why is it that she's, belittling him so much? And we learned that Shorty mentioned that she gave him a timeline to do certain things like get his credit score together or something so that they could purchase a house, and he didn't get it together, but she did. So I think a lot of it is just for her. It is just like a whole culmination of her just being tired of him, tired of this relationship, but maybe being bound by the amount of time that they've spent together and being bound by her feelings for him. She's unable to let him go, and also past experiences of her trying to leave him has, led her back to him because he, I guess, doesn't want to let her go. But at this point, this man is just absolutely tired of being spoken down to. And I feel as if Shorty feels like she has no respect for Kenneth, leave him. There's no point in like dragging him along and like criticizing him every step of the way. So anyways, we learned that Shorty decided to go on another date with Tari, and Kenneth decided to go on another date with that girl that happened to be Shorty's co-worker at some point. So that's what they decided to do. So because Kenneth feels so disrespected and he feels like he's tired of being a little puppy or whatever the case is, he decided, okay, he's actually gonna take the process seriously and like get to know the girl. According to him, before he didn't like really go into the date because he was worried about Shorty's feelings, but now he doesn't care. So they talk and everything like that. And clearly, the woman is very interested in Kenneth. And Kenneth looks to be still not that interested in her, but more open and willing to learn more about her. Before we even go and talk about this date situation further, Shorty and Kenneth had a sit down, and basically Kenneth was like, I'm not gonna allow you to keep talking to me like this. And this is the first time I've ever heard Kenneth like stand up for himself. But according to Shorty, it's not anything new. Like, this is how he is. It's just now that we're being privy to him, and his real personality around them. And she was like, everything I say to you triggers you. So it's like I have to watch what I say, but I want to be honest with you, and he feels as if he's just tired of it. Shorty feels like Kenneth lies and she wants him to stop doing it and to be consistent, I guess, and come to her more often and speak more openly and honestly about their issues. And she closes off the conversation by saying, are they ready to walk down any type of aisle? And she says no. And based on what we're seeing, I'd have to agree with her. If the man is not giving you what you want, you can't force him to become this person that you want him to be. You met him how you met him. Granted, he lied to you in the beginning, but when you started realizing that he wasn't what you wanted, you should have left. Period. Kenneth shared a bit more about himself, about how his parents moved and so on, but essentially I don't necessarily think he's into the date. So yes, she's nice, yes, she's telling him everything he wants to hear and he's happy with her, but not necessarily in a relationship. And if she was smart, she wouldn't want to like jump in, because Kenneth is like a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And he mentioned not being content and settling. Absolutely not. You don't need to do that. But as I said before, I believe there's more of a financial thing holding him there with Shorty, because I don't know any man that would tolerate a woman talking to him like that. I don't know anybody that would do that. They would eventually snap, and he looks like the type of person that will snap at some point. So it's best that he just cuts his losses and leaves. People are putting the onus on Shorty to leave, but he should also leave. Nobody's telling Kenneth to leave. He should leave too. Shorty goes on the date with Tavi, and I definitely feel as if she likes him, but she's not ready to leave her relationship for him. So in that sense, she went on that date to kind of break up with him and tell him, I'm gonna work on my relationship instead. And it's very confusing, because it's like people have this assumption that she went on this show to leave Kenneth, and you would think that she'd make every effort to jump at the next person, but she's not doing that. In fact, what she's doing is like wanting to go back. And it's crazy to me, because it's like, what do you want? Do you want to be in this, or do you want to be out? Because at this point, I'm even confused. So she wanted to just be friends and work on a relationship. Good for you. Tavi felt a little bit played a bit, because it's like, I was only brought here to be broken up with. But I honestly don't think he was that into Shorty anyways. So they were in the group session with Dr. Nicole, and they were recapping their dates, and Kenneth talked about this time wanting to approach the date as if he wasn't in a relationship, and he mentioned saying that specifically to bother Shorty, and it clearly did, because she looked very bothered. You would think that she'd be like very like still-faced and poker-faced and nonchalant, but she clearly cares. So it just leads me to believe that she is putting a little bit of a front that she doesn't care that much. She really, really does, clearly. She mentioned Tavi wanting a little more, and Kenneth feels like a little bit offended, like, wow, like, this guy wants more of you, and so that was really petty. Anyways, he decided he didn't want to go on another date with the girl, and he wanted to work on his relationship with Shorty. Shorty decided that, it wasn't there for Tavi, so she was gonna also work on her stuff. But next week we see that they get into some type of explosive confrontation again, and it's gonna be very interesting. So now we're gonna move on to the next couple, and I want to speak on, let's talk about Otis and Charlie now. So we left off on a cliffhanger with Charlene, who mentioned that she wanted to go on a date with that very same person she mentioned was possibly gonna be a threat to her relationship. So I found that very interesting. And so what she really did was, before we jump the gun, let's go and talk about Otis. Otis decided that he wanted to go on another date with Shea. Okay, now to be honest with you, I thought he would choose Milan, but he doesn't want to ruffle his relationship, so I guess he wouldn't. But Shea, I didn't really see that much connection with him and her. He has approached all his dates with like very little effort, no personality, nothing. So I'm like very confused as to why he chose her specifically. But anyways, she goes on a date, Charlie, now, with the guy, the NFL player or whatever, and I believe she went on a date with him just so she can ask him, or whether she can figure out whether what Otis said about him seeing her as weak was true. So I just think she kind of used him like to give her an answer, like, do you think I'm like a week or whatever the case is? And then after he answers, she's like, well, I always knew I was weak. Sorry, she answers by saying, I always knew I was a strong woman. I didn't need anybody to tell me that. I highly doubt that she thought she was a strong woman. Because if you do think you're a strong woman, there would be no need for you to want any external party to confirm that for you. So whatever. Anyways, she says he's a good guy. She's cautious of him, of course. But I don't see that relationship going anywhere. I think she was just using him to get back at Otis, period. Next we have Otis. Otis went on a date with Shea. I didn't really see much of a reciprocation on his part. I didn't see him asking her much about herself, which just proves that he wasn't that interested in her. And so it just, I don't know, it just came to nothing really. Like, clearly she's very interested in him. And of course, he looks good. But that's the thing. What is there beyond your looks? And I feel like if she started to get to know him more, she wouldn't be as interested. But anyways, they went over to the group session and we learned that, you know, they had good dates, for the most part, but they were not interested in going on another date with them. So they decided to work on their relationship instead of going on another date. But what really boggled my mind, oh sorry, I made a mistake. Actually, Charlene decided she wanted to go on another date with the NFL guy because she wanted to kind of break up or let him know that she was gonna, go with her partner instead. And so because Shalina decided to do that, Otis then decided he wanted to go on another date with his date Sherry to close off the situation. But as we all know, their relationship is a tit for tat type of thing. So there was no genuine intention to me on Otis's part. I don't see any reason for Charlena to want a closure date with the NFL guy because I just didn't see anything there in the first place. Everything I saw was very superficial. So I'm confused. I think Otis felt as if Charlena decided to go on the closure date to kind of also poke at him, to get at him, and I agree. So he decided, I'm gonna get back at her and go on a closure date with Sherry, and that is what he's gonna do. So they're continuing on their very annoying tit for tat type of situation, which is very childish. I don't see any love between them. I've never seen them be affectionate. I've never seen them be lovey-dovey. I've never seen them express their love for each other. So I don't know. I just don't see the love there. Some people were alluding to Shalina going on this show to boost her acting career, because if you go on her page, you're gonna see she did a whole bunch of commercials and acting gigs. So maybe that is what she's doing, but I have no idea. I cannot really assume or make my own conclusion. Next week we see other women. Well, we see two women trying on gowns. We see Charlena and we see Shea, but we don't see Shorty. So I'm assuming Shorty and Kenneth, either they leave before they do the marriage thing, or they mutually decide to not do the marriage thing or not do the wedding dress thing. So maybe that's what it is, because we've not seen them in the previews. But we do see Charlena in a wedding dress, and she does look beautiful. But do I think they're ready to accept any proposal from their partners? Absolutely not. But we will see how that comes into fruition. Last but not least, let's talk about Miss Shea and Mr. Alfonso. So Shea decided that, she wanted to go on another date with Osar, what's his name? Osar? And that is the guy that she infamously piped up on the other date. That is the guy that she went on a date with and then acted a complete fool. And so going on that date, she had to apologize to him. But before we get into that, Alfonso decided to go on a date with the woman that he went on the date with, the last date he went on essentially. And First, let's talk about Shea. She had to apologize to him because she acted a fool. She looked ridiculous. And me being Ose or Asa or whatever his name is, I wouldn't want to go or be anywhere near Shea because that's not attractive behavior. But he looked like he wasn't fazed. It looked like her behavior didn't affect him. But that's also a red flag on his part, because if you're willing to just be so nonchalant about this first impression, that was a ridiculously terrible first impression, that just speaks to maybe you like toxic behavior, maybe you think it's attractive, I have no idea. Or maybe it's because she's beauty is blinding you, I have no idea. But she was very attracted to him, very into him. They looked like they were happy. He looked like he's very attracted to her. They had fun. Next, let's get into Otis's date. Otis had fun on his date. He opened up. He told the date about what he's learned. She's complimenting him, trying to get him, to, bend a little bit, break a little bit. But he's standing firm, because if not, Shay's gonna stab him in his neck. So he has to be on his P's and Q's, period. And so he didn't feed into temptation. And so his date went well, but I do not think that he was being his authentic self. I feel like he was operating in fear. And so a lot of the things he wanted to do, he didn't do. And so even during the deliberation in the group meeting, when Dr. Nicole was asking him about his experience, I don't think he was truly being truthful, because he was worried about she and what she was going to say and how she was going to act. So I think a little bit of it is Alfonso is kind of trapped in his own relationship, because trapped vocally, there's a lot of things that he knows he cannot say. And as a result, when you create that type of environment where somebody cannot be completely honest with you, you cannot expect to be getting their authentic self. As I said last episode, what you're getting is you reflected back to you, because that's what you like, that's what you said you wanted to see. So you're getting you reflected back to you. You're getting what you want reflected back to you, but not what that person actually is, not how that person actually feels. So that's a little bit dangerous, because what will end up happening is that you might think, oh, he wanted marriage, oh, he wanted children, oh, he wanted this and he wanted that. But when you really go back and you peel back the layers, you kind of start realizing that it's not what he wanted, it's everything you wanted. But he decided to oblige you because he didn't want any problems, and you end up breaking your own heart, So next episode we see Shea helping Charlene with her wedding dress. And so that's why I'm saying to you guys that I think at that point Shorty and Kenneth leaves the show, and it's only gonna be Shea and Charlene. Now my prediction is that they both decide to accept their proposals. Do I think that they should be getting proposed to or engaged? No. According to Charlene, they needed the show to work on their relationship. Whether it works out well or not, I have no idea. Whether they should get married, absolutely not. But it is what it is. So Otis had to give a watered down version of how he felt about his date, because Shea would use it against him. Shea was very honest with her date, how she felt. She felt like he's the type of person I would probably be with, but I am deciding to be with my man instead. So it's like Shea is free to say what she wants and express how she feels, but Alfonso can't do that. And I feel like that is unfair, But if he likes it, I love it. So I don't quite care that much. So that's the end of the episode. Let me know what you guys think. I know I was all over the place. Excuse my voice. My voice is not really 100% these days. But let me know what you think about this episode. Like and subscribe, and see you guys next time. Bye.